Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Big Finish Fans. In today's Big Finish Fans, we're talking about the 11th Doctor Chronicles Series 3, Big Finish's big 11th Doctor ongoing series, and something a little bit different as well, a Series 7 tier list, because I think yesterday was the 10-year anniversary since Series 7 concluded. Well, the actual series. We had the specials as well, obviously. But for
Yeah,
now, we'll cover the specials as well. So it's all
no
the
point waiting
entire
till November because there's going to be a lot more going on by then.
November, we're probably going to be in a tsunami of Doctor Who content. But yeah, as
Oh,
ever,
very
joined
much
with
so.
Luke. Join
Yeah,
Luke.
hello everyone. No Stephen today, sadly.
Yeah, you're probably
He
thinking,
couldn't
where's season 12 part 2?
quite.
It's coming. It's happening.
Yeah,
Um,
Stephen's definitely on board for that. We all really enjoyed ourselves last time, and it seems lots of people watching enjoyed it too. So
mm,
thank you for all the positive feedback on that.
yeah, all the lovely
Uh,
comments. And yeah, it was just very surreal. And it was just a delight to,
mm,
talk about Doctor Who. And, Stephen has just got such love and passion for the show. And
mm.
like it's interesting watching Doctor Who now because like we've said in the past, I don't know if you got this now, where we've said that you see Heart in a new light, but watching Doctor Who now, I'm kind of getting the magnifying glass out, going right, okay, what are these little details? It just shows how we view television, how
Yeah,
we sit and watch these things and we go, I enjoyed that, and then you forget about it. But to sit and analytically go, okay, what's the name of the boat in the Sea Devils? Like, it's just fascinating.
yeah, you got to be on the toes for those quizzes of his.
Yeah, those quizzes are great because, like, normally when you do a Doctor Who quiz, you're like, this is easy. But then you do stuff like that, like, you question it going, is that right? Is my memory cheating? Like, amazing, amazing quizzes.
Yeah. Space plague, radiation.
Yeah, literally. Those are the go-to ones, or I don't know. There's no reason. Why do the Daleks choose Spyridon? No
Hmm,
idea.
very
Stuff like that.
nice.
It's great, great,
I mean, that
great
one was a
fun.
trick question, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
just
it was
there is
trick.
no explanation in the
There's no
story.
explanation. So you're just trying to think of like a really clever answer going, invisibility. No,
Yeah,
there's
just
no
like some
reason.
obscure line that comes up somewhere. But no. The ice volcano.
Yeah.
Mm. Thank you all for if you joined us for that. I hope you really enjoyed it because we certainly enjoyed ourselves.
Oh, it's been a
Uh,
delight. Highlight of my year, I'd say. Highlight
oh,
of my
well.
year.
Mm. But, hi guys, hi Joe Bowers. Thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
hello.
Hello, Hooven with Small Collection and Dragon Bugs as well. Oh,
Hello.
Dragon Bug says the webcam is back.
Yes, it's back. It's back. I've got a new webcam, so get to see this face again.
No. You also get to see a little pioneering spirit behind you, don't you?
Yeah. Do you want to? Should we dive into what we've been up to this week?
Yeah, let's go for it. What have you been
I'll
up to?
start since you did your little segue.
Yeah.
Pioneers has arrived. I've been listening to that. That's mainly been what Doctor Who stuff I've been doing. And you know what's really nice? Eccleston's back on the spy.
Yeah. For one box set.
Finally.
This is one box set of the series.
Yeah, literally.
There'll be other things on the others.
Yeah, so whatever's coming up next, Eccleston. Enjoy Eccleston being on the spine. But yeah,
Mm.
so far, pretty good set. Pretty good set. I really enjoyed Northern Lights. I think that was just a lot of fun. Listening to the the Green Gift, I enjoyed because obviously it's a Green Death story. But yeah, I'd say good stuff. Good solid stuff so far. Not listened to the third story yet, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. And that'll be our stream for next week, won't it? Yeah,
That's next
more
week's stream.
in depth with some Ninth Doctor all rightness, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm
Yeah,
ready to say goodness for the Ninth Doctor ongoing stuff at the moment, but yeah, I've
there's a glimmer of
listened to the
hope.
Green Gift. Yeah, I've listened to the Green Gift. I bought that at last yesterday because I was it was just forking over that.
It's that initial
£8
thing, isn't
for
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now I don't have to worry until because it's like until August, May next year, isn't it? Because they're taking November off with these box sets.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that as well next week, like
Yeah,
pricing and stuff, because that's a topic that is particularly relevant to that box set. But
and I think pricing is becoming more of a recent thing now with obviously cost of living and all that.
yeah,
You've got to be a bit more selective in what you pick up, and hopefully, we can give you the answers whether you should.
Yeah. We buy the bad things so you don't have to.
But for the vast majority, we like to be positive and stuff.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
try our best.
we try.
And I think there's been some good stuff this year so far.
Yeah, there's been some good stuff.
And I mean, that'll be next month now. We'll get to do our top 5 for like the first 6 months.
Oh yeah, that's exciting.
Because we're nearly halfway through 2023 already. Yeah, I mean, we're now 6 months away from the Doctor Who 60th specials.
Yeah, we had the trailer last Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah, and the title reveals, what is it? Star Beast, Wild Blue Yonder, and The Giggle, which caused a bit of an uproar, as you would expect.
But you know what? It will probably be the most sinister, creepy episode. Like, you know what? That's it. But look at other generation stories. The 10th Planet, Cage Randrasani, Planet of the Spiders. Yeah. It's only the new series where you have these grand titles like The Power of the Doctor, The End of Time, Time of the Doctor,
I love how Doctor Who gets to be weird with it, like properly weird again. Because I think with Russell's first go around, that was an era where television, like if it wasn't being played straight, it was laughed at.
Yeah.
And I mean, Doctor Who had to shake off that whole thing about wobbly sets and stuff. It had to prove that it was relevant to a 21st century TV landscape. And so I see why Russell took the approach he did first time coming back. But it's nice that we're now in a TV landscape where silly things like Beep to Meep can be seen on our screen for this huge event and not be something to be mocked.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have the adipose as well back in Series 4, so certainly it was easy that way. But this looks more like let's full on have some fun, but also be a bit creepy as well, because like that face on the screen in the trailers, that is rather unnerving. I like the giggle when you hear the laugh/giggle as that pops up. It does make you feel a bit uneasy. So yeah, I think people have taken the giggle at face value, but it could be quite a creepy finale to these specials.
I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I'm like, I want more. I want more than 3,
Yeah.
But if the story's there, I'm like, I'll be happy. I'll be happy with the 3.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's confirmed they're about an hour each. Because like, in a news article that came alongside it, Russell said 3 hours of them. So, certainly more than we ever really expected.
Yeah, I just thought we'd get the 1 anniversary and be like, right, okay, let's move on to whatever's next. It's interesting how in like the space of a year we're getting stuff, because like I think it was like the day after it was like the year anniversary of David and Catherine coming back. It's weird speculating that a year ago after the trailer we were getting the first drip of like, oh my god, David's got a new costume, not knowing that he was the 14th Doctor. It's so weird looking back on that.
Well, you sort of had the rumours. They were going back to 2021, weren't they? I think, like not long after Russell decided to come back, you heard some leaks about David being the 14th Doctor and stuff, and him and Catherine coming back for.
But you laugh it off. You laugh it off.
Yeah.
They never do that. But then,
we did at first.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was while we were streaming live, actually, someone popped into the chat saying, "Have you heard the rumors about David Tennant being the 14th Doctor?" It was that was when I first heard about it. I think that was when it was first like starting to spread around on Twitter. If you're watching this right now and it was you who put that there, please let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say I can't remember who it was, but yeah, it was crazy how we just laughed that off. But then as more evidence came along, and I think it was also good that we got that that we had those rumors first so that we could get used to the idea of it and come around to it rather than having it just thrown at us and being like, really?
I think it was before pop culture arrived that nostalgia is really great. And I think Doctor's the perfect show to exploit nostalgia. You know, Big Finish is a prime example. I see Revenge Cybermen in like TV movie again on cover. I buy. You know, it plays to that market, that niche, that sort of inner fan in you going, I really need to experience this. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, it also does get on board people who did dip out after End of Time.
It's the
It's like a
perfect.
way, yeah, it's a way to draw people back in, and then hopefully keep them on board for Shootigatwa and what's to come there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again with that casting, and you know, all the other bits of casting that have been going on around Series 14, it's
High
another
profile.
way of bringing people in who previously had no interest in Doctor Who. Like Shootigatwa on Instagram alone, the amount of followers he has,
Yeah.
some of whom probably haven't even heard of Doctor Who before, are now going to be looking at that with curiosity and maybe jumping on board.
It's just what an exciting time to be a Doctor Who fan. You know, just so exciting.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit of Eighth Doctor news a second ago.
Yeah.
Just so we dive into some Big Finish news.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah. There we go. We got a trailer for Dalek Genesis of Terror. Like, I think last week we sort of briefly mentioned it.
Yeah.
But what did you make of it? Going into a bit more depth with that.
I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of more fascinated by this than the Arc at this current moment.
Really?
Yeah, the Arc trailer. I'm gonna spoilers didn't really do much for me. But maybe because I watched Genesis that week and that came out like the day after. I was just in that mindset. And it seems very similar to Genesis. Like there's similar beats, but there are some elements that were different. So I'm curious by it. I'm curious.
I don't know. Other than the garden at the start,
I don't know if that's from like the LP or something.
It was also the original idea.
Yeah.
But instead they decided to just take the action straight to Skaro. Which again sort of adds to the Time Lord's duplicitous side, doesn't it? This is something I'm sure we'll talk about when Stephen gets back with season 12 part 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they assume his cooperation and drop him down there. Whereas, I think it was also just a thing of saving on filming location, really. If you're already going to be in a quarry doing all the minefield stuff, why not move the Time Lord's meeting there as well? But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, it's not really selling it to me as different enough from Genesis of the Daleks.
I think
it's an interesting curiosity. But...
Yeah, I think that's the thing with these season 12 stories. They're little curios of what could have been. And I know a lot of people in the comments have been like, we have Genesis of the Daleks. This is kind of going against what the lost stories are. What they started out to be, I guess, but I'm all for it,
Yeah, it seems more just like a different way of experiencing those original documents, because it doesn't seem like much work has been done script-wise on Big Finish's part. It is just taking what Terry Nation put to paper and letting people experience that in a more lively sense, really. Because you've also got the narration from Nicholas Briggs in there as well for the stage directions. But I mean, I'm curious still. I'll be picking it up, but for me, I'm more intrigued by the Arc, which again actually does seem surprisingly similar in some ways.
Yes,
more so than I was expecting to the Arc in Space, but I think has enough different going for it. It feels in a similar vein to Revenge and Return of the Cybermen. In that this feels almost more 60s. And I think some of the music choices Big Finish used feel very early adventures. Like that trumpet noise of like that moment in the trailer felt like right out of some 60s audios they've done. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just missing the early adventures a bit, and this feels like something close to that. But
I
this one
think for
does
me
have
it's
me
just
more
having
interested.
Harry and Sarah, because obviously Big Finish haven't used them properly yet. Like, this is the closest thing we've got to that. So I think that's why I'm sort of lapping it up, you know.
Yeah, them together is yet to break free from these season 12 remakes, really, aren't they? Because we've had Sarah on her own with the third Doctor, and now kind of the fourth with Once and Future. We've had Harry in Unit and the Seventh Doctor Adventures. But this sort of like dream team of the fourth Doctor, Sarah and Harry, is currently just being used in stories we've seen before almost. So,
but played on a slightly different tune, I guess. The same piece of music, but a slight variance, I guess, to it.
But I'm excited for the arc. And I mean, I don't know, it's probably 60 sensibilities. You got Sarah going around with her pot of tea at one point.
Yeah.
It feels somewhat Polly.
Now go and make me some coffee.
But in other news, we got Torchwood Among Us cover again.
Yeah, that came out. Was it this week or last week? That came out
Thursday, I think. Oh, are you talking about Among Us 1?
Yeah, Among Us 1.
Yeah, Among Us 1 came out last week, didn't it? I think it was the day after Pioneers. I mean, it seems the arc they're going for is like related to social media. It seems it's got a good bit of Tim Foley writing as well for this one.
Yeah, we like Tim Foley here.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll be picking it up still.
Yeah, I need to get the other box set before I get Among Us, but I'm not in a hurry for it at this moment.
Nah, I think that's fair. But also, we got some interlude news today.
We're getting closer to the juicy news.
Yeah,
I know the chat's popping off, which, you know.
Yeah,
we see you. You are seen. But yeah, it's Gary Russell returning to write the Sixth Doctor and Mel.
Yeah, it is.
Which is a nice.
What's interesting is they did announce, like, when they did the original interlude announcements, one by Paul Marks, which had like a similar title. I think what's this one called? So this one is The Doctor in His Amazing Technicolor Nightmare Coat. This is the one by Gary Russell. But before there was one called. Let me just check. I have this already, but
hey, it's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
Where are we? Here we go. The Tale of the Multicolored Coat was the Paul Marks one, narrated by Toby Haydock. Like, that was announced, but for whatever reason they've swapped it out for a similar one. So, like, are we going to be getting that Paul Marks Toby Haydock one next year, or is this one a replacement because it seems like a similar concept with the names, or is that just a coincidence? I mean, we've already got them because they're free downloads with releases that we got in a bundle.
Interestingly, we haven't had the bundle news for next year.
No,
we normally get it middle of May, so we're a bit later this time.
Maybe next week that'll be coming along.
Hope. I mean, in a way, you kind of want it, but I'm like, wow, time to drop the money.
It's sort of like that nervousness as well. Has the price gone up?
Yeah, because is it like, are we going to get 3 box sets each for each Doctor now? You know, like what is next year's Big Finish gonna be?
Yeah, because we know it's at least one extra box set on this year with the Fourth Doctor having 3 instead of 2. Although it's still the same, like, runtime wise, and I think it's only a little bit more expensive bundle wise. But yeah, have to see how that goes. But the main exciting news we had today was Audacity. Fresh start for the Eighth Doctor, one we were not expecting this soon. I think it was mentioned in the chat a while ago that I think David Richardson at a convention, wasn't it, said we'll be rebooting the Eighth Doctor at some point. We assume that would mean, we'll wrap up Liv and Helen this year and then introduce the next companion after them the following year.
Yeah.
But no, instead, they've gone a completely different direction. They've gone back before Lucy. I don't know whether they've confirmed whether this is before Charlie or not.
Oh, this is interesting because I think it's Mary Shelley Charlie. Then I don't know. I don't know if it's difficult because a part of me feels like it's got to be after Charlie. But then a part of me feels like they're just going to go really early.
Yeah, probably like it's a way of saying, we're cutting ties with any baggage whatsoever. You can jump into this if all you know of the Eighth Doctor is the TV movie, and you can enjoy a fresh new start, which I think is exciting for the Eighth Doctor. It's not something I think he's necessarily needed, because I've been enjoying a lot of what we've had with Liv and Helen recently.
Yeah, last year McGann was just, I'd say, the most consistent Doctor with multiple box sets. If that makes sense.
But at the same time, I'm not complaining that we're getting this fresh start.
No. If anything, I'm just so excited for what's coming up because I nearly ordered this and I had to do a double take. Going, I've got this. This is great, and I haven't spent any money on it because I haven't.
I think we were really expecting more Liv and Helen, weren't we?
Yeah.
So when you see something that isn't them in a box set, you think, this must be a special McGann one, because he seems to get quite a few of those, doesn't he?
Yeah, I thought this was like another Charlie or Lucy set or Time War, like a little break, because McGann's only sort of end of year. So I was like, well, we normally get a McGann, double McGann. So I was like, okay, we'll get something extra. But no, this is just exciting to have like the I think it's the Children of the Revolution McGann costume. I think just having, TV movie-esque McGann on a cover excites me because I that's my personal favorite Eighth Doctor, because he's just full of love and life and just to see the wonders of the universe, that excitement, which kind of gets lost as time goes on because of what happens to him.
He certainly has a type in this era for companions, doesn't he? With Mary Shelley Charlie and now Audacity, you've sort of got that. I mean, with Audacity, she's sort of like Regency England, isn't she?
It's sort of giving me that. Is it Hannah Bartholomew from the Fifth Doctor stuff?
Yeah,
giving me that sort of feel.
Here, played by Jay Griffiths, who was in Time War Cass. So presumably she and McGann got along well then, and someone had the idea, why not have her as a new companion?
That's probably how she got cast. It's not like McGann. I like her. We love her. Please.
Yeah, keep her around. Yeah. And then also with this, we have Cybermen with the Eighth Doctor for the first time since
Silver Turk.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, that was end of 2011, I think.
Yeah, so 12 years it's been since the Eighth Doctor last.
It's a long time coming, this.
Yeah. I mean, that's longer than between Silver Turk and when McGann first joined Big Finish.
Yeah, it's 10 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, like his entire run up to the Silver Turk took less time than it did after the Silver Turk for us to get another Cyberman story. Yeah. Also, another trend with these like early Eighth Doctor companions is their second story ends up being a Cyberman story. That was the case with Mary and Charlie, and now Audacity as well.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, that's true. Because you had Mary's story, Silver Turk. Yeah, true. And then, Sword of Orion.
Yeah. But with this, it's a two-parter by Tim Foley.
Which, our thoughts on Tim Foley here. We love him.
Been a great writer, and so really looking forward to see what he does with the Cybermen and the Vogons as well.
I think what's exciting, it's Revenge Cybermen, who I don't think have been on a Big Finish cover.
No, this is their first time, isn't it? And they're looking incredible here. You've also got, like, between the Eighth Doctor and the Cyber Leader, that tomb kind of design.
It's a bit
For, like,
Nightmare in
the
Silver,
ladder.
actually.
Yeah, that's probably where Nightmare in Silver got it from, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the ships are definitely Invasion. Or maybe Wheel in Space, actually.
Hmm.
No, I think Wheel in Space is a bit more simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some sort of weird, presumably Vogan space station at the bottom there.
It's made of
It
gold.
looks a bit gold. Yeah, so I doubt the Cybermen will have much to do with that. But yeah, that looks rather 70s as well. It feels in keeping with the Revenge aesthetic.
Hands on hips intensifying. You know.
I mean, no hands on hips for these ones on the cover.
All resistance overcome.
I think Nick Briggs will have an Australian tang to his voice.
I don't know, but it'd be interesting.
I mean, also interesting, Sean Longmore taking over the covers for the Eighth Doctor. I mean, he's stealing covers from everyone at this point. He's taken over for a bit of Fourth Doctor as well.
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
I wonder, I do wonder why they like. I'm hoping that it's a bit of a shake-up, and so other cover artists like Rafe Wallbank, who usually does the Eighth Doctor ones, like he did the previous What Lies Inside Connections and Cass. I believe he mentioned having plans for Time War 6 as well, but you never know what changes behind the scenes there. But hopefully he gets to do that as well. I'm hoping that maybe they mix things up and give him something that another artist used to do, like maybe give him the Second Doctor. Because I like Rafe's work, so it'd be a shame if this is him being given less. I'm fine with letting different artists do different Doctors. Like, they don't always have to be stuck in their same one or two. But at the same time, I hope that it's kept somewhat even across the board.
Yeah. I mean, with Sean Longmore doing the covers, I suspect we'll probably get individual artwork for the discs.
It would be nice. I don't want to get my hopes up too much for that, though.
I feel like we will. It's McGann.
We didn't have it with Return of Joe Jones, though.
That is true. But I feel like with this, they go all out.
Yeah.
It's new McGann.
But I mean, Sean Longmore's second cyber cover as well, because he did the
Blood and Steel.
Unbound Doctor. Yeah, Blood and Silver. I mean, one minor negative that is just me being a bit fan brainy, really.
Here we go.
Is that they are still sticking with the 1 hour format. When I feel like if you're going early McGann, TV movie McGann, that feels more like classic.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of prefer it if it was, half-hour episodes instead.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Because you had that with the Charlie box set. Further Adventure S. So, I think it would also be a nice way to bring him in with the rest of the classic Doctors in that bundle, because he's the only one who gets like the 1 hour stuff. And so it would have been a good excuse. I think with later McGann, it makes sense for him because it's sort of like more of a new series style, isn't it, with the Liv and Helen stuff. But yeah, with this, maybe it would have been nice to have it be classic style, but I'm not complaining too much because it is, at the end of the day, just a formatting decision. It's not something that affects the quality of the stories per se. It's just a preference in, I think, listening as well. It's nicer to have things broken up into those.
It's more it's more, I don't want to say listenable, but it's less daunting. Like if you've only got, like half an hour before you go to sleep, and it's great. You're like, all right, I've done one episode, it's great. Whereas an hour, you're like, I might fall asleep.
Yeah, I mean, you can always stop them in the middle.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel the same. It feels wrong.
You need
you need a good cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Doctor Who fans, we love good cliffhangers, and I mean, at least the Cyberman story, with it being a two-parter, will have a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
don't
Tim
feel
Foley, so probably a
shortchanged by
banging
that.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also alongside this, so you got the first set, which comes with The Devouring by Lisa McMullen, 1 part, and then The Great Cyber War by Tim Foley, 2 parts. After that, you've got sort of like a Christmas box set, really.
Yeah, which is very exciting.
Winter. 24 Doors in December by John Dorney. The Empty Man by Tim Foley, and Winter of the Demon by Roy Gill. So it's sort of like Christmassy, but a dark fairy tale twist on Christmas.
Which feels perfect for McGann and just that time of year as well.
I think we'll get a Storytime McGann again.
I love, please. They just, I just long for like box sets where it's like themed. Much like what we're going to talk about tonight. The next set in that series is got a Christmas special.
Yeah, exciting. We like when they match up to the time of year. And just exciting times ahead for the 8th Doctor.
Yeah. It's wrong to wish away the year, but I just want that box set now.
Yeah. I do hope that they don't end up doing to Liv and Helen what they've done to companions like Constance, Older Perry. They have their new exciting toy and they forget about their old ones. It'd be nice if maybe it's like a year in, year out thing.
Yeah.
Like keep that going, but also explore this as well. Yeah, we'll see what the future brings, but for now, I'm happy with this. I'm happy we have more whimsy 8th Doctor and not my heart's been ripped out so many times 8th Doctor. So it's with a small collection. Yeah.
And hopefully his brain's still intact. It's not become Swiss cheese just yet.
Yeah. I've still not recovered from the Ravenous Christmas specials. My heart isn't ready, says he with a small collection.
Hot take, that's better than Chimes of Midnight. I stand. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill.
So shall we load up a Series 7 tier list?
Yeah, let's do that.
Stop sharing that. Daniel Hager says, why have we not heard anything about the second Doctor Beyond War Games Volume 2 set? Yeah, I mean, we don't have a cover for the 7th Doctor next month either yet. It's a weird thing with Big Finish that we're getting news for November, but we know nothing about what is right around the corner. Yeah,
I was going to say it's too early, but then we've just been talking about a box that came out in November. It's weird how stuff gets prioritized. Yeah,
because it's only 2 months now until 2 months time. Second Doctor could be with us, and we don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Which is exciting.
But anyway,
we know Jamie's in it at least.
Yeah, that's true. We've had that unofficially confirmed, really, or even I'd probably say to an official level. Like we know it's definitely happening. They've said
from the Annihilators.
They've just not properly put it on the page yet.
But that's going to be the news article when they do announce Story Details, like Jamie's back. That's going to be the headline.
Yeah, they're saving it.
I can see it. I can see it now.
Yeah, I'd love a box set title like Return of the Highlander or something.
Return of McCrimmon.
Who knows? But I'm sure we don't have too long to wait until we find that out. So then, Series 7 here. We're sort of before, if we're going to be talking about what Big Finish have been slotting into Series 7 with the Valarie series, it would be nice to touch base with how we feel about Series 7 itself as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also 10 years old now, all of it.
That's really horrible to think about, because I just think of how good of a time it was being a Doctor Who fan when this was airing, because it had the build-up of the 50th. It was just, I don't want to say peak Doctor Who fan, but it was like where I was probably, I don't want to say like the most invested, but the most I was proud of being a Doctor Who fan. I think after that, I'm like, I'm going back to my closet now. I'm going, yes, I like that show.
Yeah. I think this was probably just before I was really getting into classic Who as well.
Oh, really?
I mean, you could argue that's maybe not something in its favour. It's like, oh, this is so bad. I'm going back to when Doctor Who was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been around 2013, yeah, because it was my 16th birthday when I got quite a few new classic Who DVDs. I got the Mannequin Mania box set.
Good set.
I got the Unit Files box set.
Oh, very good set, actually. Yeah.
And
underrated set.
Yeah. I can't remember. There was one. I'm pretty sure it was either Day or Death to the Daleks. One of those two. I'm pretty sure I also got then. But yeah, that was sort of like me taking my first steps into classic Who again after a while. But yeah, with the TV series, I'd certainly say I'd fallen a bit out of love by this point. Like, I was still watching it, but more from a casual.
You don't want to miss it. Like,
yeah,
you're still attached, but you're like, yeah, I don't really want to.
I had other interests. I was big on Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Clone Wars keeping me going. So that was like my main fan focus. Like, I think I was a much bigger Star Wars fan around like 2010, 11, 12 than
I think that was me this year, really.
Yeah.
Like the start of this year, I was like gone big on it, and then like it's Doctor Who slowly, because we're edging towards the 60th, it's kind of creeping back in, you know.
But I mean, with Series 7, it's an odd one in terms of, like, you know, the split series here. Like, Series 6
it was the longest gap in the new series, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we laugh at that now.
Yeah. We don't know how good we had it.
Yeah. I mean, it was Doctor Widow and the Wardrobe to Asylum of Daleks, 8 months?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Because was it longer, December to September?
Yeah, but it was like 1st of September, wasn't it? And 25th of December, so it's more like 8 months and.
Or was it August? Was it late August?
I'm pretty sure all of Series 7 Part 1 was in September.
Oh, I think it might have been like a couple of weeks before you started school again. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like September 1st to September 29th. It was all like squeezed into that 1 month. But yeah, they were there's an interesting split here where you've got companions leaving halfway through the series. You've got a new title sequence halfway through the series.
Yeah, you got like a revamp.
Yeah. You could very easily have called these things Series 7 and Series 8 instead of Part 1 and Part 2, and I don't think anyone would have batted an eyelid. Well, like, the only real connective tissue is Clara in Asylum of the Daleks. But even then, you can hand wave that away as similar to River Song in Science of the Library and Forest of the Dead.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was just going to, with like the Amy and Rory stuff, you feel like, well, could that have just been tacked on in Series 6, you know, just extend Series 6 somehow? I don't know. Because it does feel like I don't want to say like a hangover of it, but because I think because you're so used to like a new series with new companion, new Doctor, that feels more right. But I guess it's still trying. I think because production was so heavily plagued for this series in particular.
That's certainly where Moffat was struggling a lot, wasn't he?
And I think there was friction between him and Caroline Skinner, I think, as well. But, you know, we'll have to wait for the Blu-ray sets to
dive into the behind-the-scenes drama.
Dive into that.
Fun fact from Stage1 here, the BBC threatened to sue people who called Series 7B Series 8. Oh, wow. But yeah, like, it's up because Series 6 had the split series as well, but that was much shorter gap. And also it still felt like the same series. Yeah. This, I think, Ben seems to have gone there. But yeah, with these two, they feel like they have very different tones and styles to them. But yeah, I remember at the time I was probably ready to say goodbye to the Ponds. To be honest, I was, a bit tired of them. But looking back, I'd have rather had more Ponds. Really, funnily enough, it's funny how these things change with hindsight. But yeah, Sturgeford says, I like that the Ponds are there. It makes for a natural progression from the Ponds to Clara, which is an abrupt for new viewers watching on streaming. I can see that. I do, yeah. I do like that classic series approach, particularly in the 60s, where you did have, oh yeah, Ben has probably gone now, where you did have like that crossover between Doctor and different companions. Well, obviously, with Ben, Polly, and Jamie still sticks around through Victoria and Zoe as well. So it's not like you're losing everyone at once and then starting again. But yeah, something new every day. Oh no, Ben is cosplaying as Weeping Angel. Oh dear. Well, not anymore. He's gone now. Little off topic. Any Big Finish 2021 recommendations? I suppose we'll put the Series 7 chat on pause quickly while we wait for Ben to return. Don't want him missing out on anything. And I'll have a quick look at 2021 for some recommendations for you, Hoover and Small Collection, and anyone else who might be interested. But certainly Dalek Universe is a big one from 2021. That's like the main event from that year, and that's definitely worth checking out. That is brilliant stuff. Good little mini series with the 10th Doctor in the universe of not just the Daleks, but Terry Nation, the world he sort of created through his stories throughout the 60s and 70s, and it nicely ties a lot of that lore around it together. Oh, Stajman says, ironic you dropped off here, Luke, since this was how I got into Doctor Who. It's funny how these things change. I suppose that's why you've got quite a strong connection to the Bells of St. John stylish one. But yeah, I was more dropping off around series 6B and then series 7A, really. I'd say it was series 7B where I started to get back into Doctor Who again, and then got interested in exploring the past of the show. But yeah, another one of my favorites from 2021, Hoover and the Small Collection, would be The Day of the Comet, a Fourth Doctor one. That's a great little story. But Ben is back now.
Hello.
Hello. You loading up the tier list again?
I'm loading it up now. My internet
Nice.
dropped, which is a pain in the butt, but it's all right. Yeah. It's fine. We can live with it. Yeah. I mean, it's Bells of St. John happening. Don't worry.
I wonder if it happens around the same time each week.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because it's certainly becoming a regular,
more regular
feature of the stream in a way. Ben has been attacked by the spoonheads.
Tell me about it. It happens every week at this point, which is crap.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying about how we're starting a series without a new companion, you could sort of see why they went for the Daleks in the first story. So, have that big draw that's usually there with a new Doctor or companion. Because Series 6, you had the same companions, but you had a big cross event with BBC America, co-production, two-parter. There was lots of firsts going on there. It's tied into the arc quite heavily. Whereas this time, going for something different, going for the Daleks, and also dropping the arc quite a bit, really, with this series.
Because I think they wanted to try and keep Clara hush-hush in Asylum, didn't they? That was like a big...
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That was like a twist save for the Snowman. They even kept like modern Clara hush-hush, didn't they, I believe? Until after the Snowman, where obviously Victorian Clara died. But should we start with Asylum of the Daleks? Or should we quickly say the tier names?
Yeah, let's do that.
We love our puns. 11 out of 10 at the top. Hooderman.
Hooderman.
we're petitioning for that to be the title of the final Jacob Dudman box set.
Yeah.
Big Friendly OK. That one's from Ben, part of Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, the Big Friendly button.
Yes.
You could tell I've not watched that one in a while. When you said it, and I was like,
I've not watched it in a long time.
Journey to the Centre of Boredom. That sort of tells you why I haven't watched Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS in a long while.
Well, okay.
Ooh, maybe. Arse, Island of the Daleks. And Stay Out. I mean, you can tell I've watched 11th Hour a few times.
Yeah.
But what's not to love there?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. So, Asylum of the Daleks. What's calling to you here? Is it Arse or is it a bit better? Or is it worse? Should it stay out?
If you asked me like 10 years ago, I'd probably put Hoodaman or 11 out of 10.
Oh, wow. You're a big
fan.
But
I've really, I don't want to say I've soured on it, but I realize the flaws of it. And yeah. I'd say it's okay, personally.
Big Friend. I won't fight you on that. I'll let you have Big Friend.
Like, it's okay. It's all right. Like, I think that I like the concept of the asylum, like the skeleton crew. They're really creepy.
It's got its creepy moments, hasn't it?
It's just weird that we're getting a resolution from a little minisode like Pond Life. Like,
I mean, not even the whole of Pond Life, just the final episode of Pond Life suddenly threw this twisting of the marriage breaking up. And
it's a twist for a twist's sake, isn't it? Really, it's not. Yeah, really needed.
Yeah, it just feels like something that's there to add an extra level of character drama that doesn't really feel organic, doesn't feel needed. Like, I could see Amy and Rory having these issues. And I think it's a good way to explore what happened to Amy after, having River, having that child taken away from her, because that's never really... The ramifications of that, I don't think, are really addressed throughout Series 6B. But I think it's done too rushed here, and it's probably a symptom of the blockbuster of the week style storytelling they were going for. They wanted everything contained, really, and so the fact that this plot wasn't allowed to flourish more, it's a shame, because I don't think it's necessarily a bad concept. It's just very poorly executed and stuffed on top of a story that already has a bit too much going on for 45 minutes of runtime.
It's not the worst story to come out of the movie format. It's not the one what's hit the worst. I think that comes later. Looking at you, something in silver.
Yeah, I think it's certainly one that you can tell. You can see the cracks in this format, which is a shame because it's the very first episode of that style. I mean,
but I think when this aired, I think I was just happy to have Doctor Who back, to be honest.
As I said, this was sort of when I was drifting away from it, really. So, I mean, maybe that gap didn't help as well. But I just sort of shrugged it off, I suppose. Like, I didn't really have the investment to be angry about this story or anything. I just knew something wasn't right. It was like Stephen was saying about the Graham Williams era for him. This was sort of that for me, really. That, I suppose, apathy, that realization that, suddenly I'm not as bothered about Doctor Who as I used to be. Especially a Dalek story as well.
I think I had that in the Capaldi era. Because, I think with me, I know we're talking about Series 7 here, but Capaldi was very much, that's a Doctor we want. We wanted a classic type Doctor, and it took a few attempts to love Capaldi, and I finally got him. And then Series 9 came, and then he's riding a tank, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't the show I used to love. It's not how I remember it. But then you get Under the Lake and Before the Flood, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is good. And then you get the Maisie Williams two-part, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe not.
Yeah. I think for me, that was when I was much more invested as a fan. So I wanted Doctor Who to be good again. Not that I didn't want Doctor Who to be good here, but I didn't care as much that it wasn't. Because I was like, I've got other things, I've got other interests now. Maybe I'm just growing away from Doctor Who. Whereas by, Capaldi's era, I was buying Big Finish. You're pouring a lot of money into your Doctor Who different DVD collections and such. Not quite the Blu-ray collection yet. But yeah, it's like when you're doing that, when you're getting that investment, it then becomes a bit more painful when the show isn't what you want it to be.
You have that edgy phase of going, well, Big Finish is better than the TV show.
Yeah.
You have that phase, and then you realise that not every area of Doctor Who is going to speak to you. Like the Whittaker era, it's not my favourite, but I appreciate it for what it does,
Yeah. I think controversial take incoming here, though.
Okay.
I rather like Dinosaurs on the Spaceship.
I have to disagree.
Oh, you're a big poo-pooer on this one.
It's one of my least favourites of a series.
I think it's just okay. I just have fun with it. Like, particularly Brian.
Brian's great. I like Dark 11. I stand by 11's one of the most darkest Doctors.
I think it's nice, this idea of a Silurian arc. That's nice.
Yeah, because I don't want to sound bad, but the Silurians and Sea Devils have one story, whereas this kind of branches them out a little bit more. It pushes them further in what you can do with them if you want.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything amazing to write home about. You can see a lot of the issues of the Chibnall era coming up here.
Yes, yeah.
With this sort of overcrowded setup, really, where you're just throwing characters into it that probably didn't need to be there.
Yeah, because he's got a gang now. Yes.
Yeah.
Love a gang.
But I think here, because you've got quite a few of the characters created by Moffat, I think because Amy and Rory are already quite well-rounded, it's not as bothersome as when with the later Chibnall, or just the Chibnall era as a whole, when you have Graham, Ryan, and Yaz being overshadowed by new characters who pop in for no reason, like Ada Lovelace, and who's the other one in Spyfall? But just sort of surrogate companions where you've already got companions.
Oh, anyway. Is it Amir Khan?
Yeah, that's. But yeah, with those characters overshadowing the characters who already existed, who don't feel well-rounded, who feel like they need more of that time. Whereas here, and I think they've got fun actors doing this as well, that they just get to bounce off of each other nicely.
Yeah.
And it's that Moffat thing of, oh, you could have these Big Finish adventures later on. That's a Big Finish gap for you, and you can have.
Yeah, Moffat is very. I think Series 7 is the Big Finish gap series.
Yeah, it's also just like that expansion of the idea of you're not seeing all the Doctor's adventures. Yeah. So I just have fun with it. I'd say Big Friendly okay.
Oh yeah, I'll be fair.
But one other note on the blockbuster of the week. How do you feel about each episode having a different title sequence for part one?
God, it was horrible. Just the weird filters.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is it? It wasn't like a remade title sequence. It was just filtered over, and they didn't always look right.
It was like you made your own figure adventure, and you're like, I need a title sequence. You go Windows Movie Maker, filters, and there was one would just change color every couple of seconds. I'm like, that's literally Series 7 Part 2. And then you'd have the weird textured logo, which I guess
one of them grass.
Yeah, I think that was the dinosaur one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I imagine so. That makes sense.
But it didn't look properly textured, and I guess they're trying to give each episode their own identity, but it just doesn't work for it,
I mean, what I would have liked, because they're going for blockbuster of the week, is really lean into that and have it be like a movie title card. Like, have a long shot out into the Wild West and have a town called Mercy pop up like big white letters or whatever in like that Western text with a little
I could do like a little
different ring of the
ambassadors
Doctor.
thing,
Yeah.
like a gunfire, like town called.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
but
But
war
yeah, it
games.
feels like you could have gone really creative there rather than just doing awkward filters. I mean, they went for it with the posters, didn't they?
The posters were great.
Yeah, like you can have a great film noir, like black and white little title card for Angels Take Manhattan. What could be?
What could have been? I mean, I guess maybe when the collection set comes around, they'll rectify it.
Very nice. I love the theme for the Series 6B titles, but the rest is air, says Mr. Boncactus.
The 7B titles I like, and I'll
Hmm.
defend them.
I'm not too fussed either way on them.
I like it. I like it.
No. I think that's another weird thing where it's like you've got different titles for each episode of the first 5, but then the rest are all the same.
But then you
there was...
lose it for Day of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
strange.
that's sort of going. I suppose because they knew it was going to be in a cinema, they thought, oh, it'd be a bit weird if we just played the theme. I mean, you got the classic opening, haven't you? I suppose, but yeah. But yeah, like that's arguably still keeping up the blockbuster of the week format even after the series has ended. I mean, for me, I didn't even realize the blockbuster of the week thing carried on into Series 6B. I thought it was just A that had that for a long while.
Yeah, but yeah, they carried it. They carried it on.
Yeah, but anyway, the Western now, a town called Mercy. One I have actually seen rather recently. So
I was gonna say, like, I've actually watched. You've not watched these other two.
Yeah, I mean, some of them not for a good while still.
Yeah.
But yeah, a town called Mercy. I think good stuff.
I think it's probably my favorite of the first half.
Ah, I can see that. I think maybe a Huda Man.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree. So I think it explores Eleven's character great with Carl or Jax.
Yeah, it feels like it's something that's been building with his character for a while, and certainly something Moffat loved to explore, like that darker side of the Doctor.
And I think that a bit like season 21, you can start to see the shift in tone from the light Davison era to season 21, where it's getting a bit more gritty and dark. And I think this has the same effect because when you get to series 8 and you've got people saying "Don't cremate me" and stuff, like it slowly, you can see the tone shifting towards Capaldi. Really, I'd say.
And also, it's our first Doctor Who Western since the Gunfighters, and it's funny just seeing how different those two are.
Yeah.
Surgical says a town called Mercy is my favorite 11th Doctor master story. He's teasing us again.
I'm teasing you.
11 is really dark in series 7A, isn't he? He manipulates the Ponds in Asylum, kills Solomon, almost shoots Carla, checks, etc. Yeah, it certainly has been building for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we get The Power of Three, which I think works as a nice penultimate episode for the Ponds, doesn't it? As the other Ponds get to spend some time with them.
I don't know if this is my favorite Chibnall script. You know, I really like this one. I really like it.
I think a lot of the faults as well aren't even the faults of the script or the production team. It's just the mess of a third act that happened because of
that actor, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
The person who played the Shakri.
Yeah. But it all seemed to go wrong at the end there. It's funny how little Kate Stewart's in this one, though. Like, it's not really a unit story. They're just there for about 5 minutes, probably. Like, they storm in and meet the Doctor, and then he goes to them later for help at the end. But for the most part, it's just a day in the life of the Doctor as he waits for whatever these cubes are going to do.
Yeah, the Slow Invasion. That's a great target book title, isn't it? The Slow Invasion. And that should be the target book title.
I mean, it's also called Cubed at one point, wasn't it? It was one of the earlier titles for this one. But yeah, I think the Power of Three is a suitable title because
Yeah.
it also applies to the Doctor, Amy, and Rory, of course. And it's also got Brian back again. Nice to have a
Brian's
recurring
lost.
family member, because that doesn't seem to be something that often happens with the Moffat era.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and with that, you're again exploring that side of, should people travel with the Doctor? What is his responsibility to them? And also with them sort of choosing between their two lives, like what is the actual life they want to lead? Because this is the first companion setup, really. It's something Moffat really popularized, I suppose, where companions weren't just traveling in the TARDIS. They were sort of like using the TARDIS as almost a taxi. Yeah, like they had their own lives. So I suppose that sort of started with God Complex, isn't it? That was when they first got dropped off, and then since then it was Doctor comes, let's have an adventure, back in time for tea, off they go. And with that, you've got them aging a lot, but obviously still carry on with their lives as normal. You have the reveal that they've got jobs.
Yeah, they have a life.
Yeah, all interesting stuff here, but all does come down to a bit of an awkward third act. So I'd probably say a Big Friendly okay again, through no fault of its own in a way, but it is definitely hampered by that. Maybe a Huda Man if we're feeling generous. Up to you.
I mean, personally, I prefer it to those two.
I'll let you have a Huda Man because I think it is very good for the first 30 or so minutes.
Yeah. Like, I think people sleep on it. I mean, I know there's a reference to a way cooler story like Zygons in Paris. That's really cool.
That's the Big Finish to cover.
That's Big Finish.
Matt Smith comes along brings Karen and Arthur with him. When Arthur's already there, he's waiting for him.
Yeah, he's just waiting. And Alex Kingston, bless her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's really there. That's her second home at this point.
Yeah.
But here we go. The big farewell. Speaking of Alex Kingston, she gets to pop up in this one. Even that's a Big Finish prequel.
Yeah.
With Carnival of Angels. But the Angels take Manhattan. I love that this is a companion farewell that is more focused on the companion farewell. It's not a big 2-part finale where the farewell sort of gets tucked in at the last minute.
Or it's just dragged out.
Yeah, it doesn't feel. It feels like there's that nice emotional weight to it. It's given the right amount of presence within the story. And also, again, carries on this arc that Moffat has going of why the Doctor needs companions. I mean, it's something that Moffat's not alone in doing. He got the whole Time War Victorious arc that Russell did. But yeah, he's got them, and now just as he's getting better after the Carla Jex incident and such, he's now losing him again.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a very good story. I don't think it's the best Weeping Angel story by any stretch of the imagination. I think Time of the Angels and Angels Take Manhattan, not Angels Take Manhattan, Flesh and Stone, trump this massively.
Oh, that's the best Weeping Angel story for me.
Yeah, by far. I'd say a Blink is better than this one. It still tops what's Village of the Angels though. But the only probably stretch too far is the
Statue of Liberty.
That is a bit of a. It's like I get why it appealed as an idea. Like you're going to New York to have a Weeping Angel story. What's the biggest statue in New York? You know, you can see why they wanted to, but yeah, it's just one of the. It's similar to the Moon as an Egg, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just feels like a bit too much for a stretch. It's like it's a cool visual, and you're like, wow, they really went there. And then you think about it a bit more, and you're like, should they have went there?
I know it's like Doctor Who would never apply logic to it, but some things you're like, surely people will
Yeah.
notice.
Yeah, I love the idea of like the charnel house they have going.
The cherubs are great.
Oh,
Again,
they're creepy.
like the giggling. It goes back to the giggle. The giggle's going to be
Yeah.
scary, guys.
Yeah. The noir style of it as well, the way it leans into that, it's wonderful. It's one that could have maybe been improved by being a bit longer. Again, similar to a lot of these at this point.
Mm.
Yeah, it does feel like we get to the end pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you're more just there for that emotional farewell, aren't you? Really?
Yeah. I mean, I can take it or leave it. It's a Marmite one. It's one where
Oh, really?
catch me on a good day, I like it. Catch me on others, I don't. Yeah,
Silence
I'm
one
not a
says,
fan. Not a fan.
Oh, Silence one
At
says,
this minute.
Melody Malone book is so clever and very Moffat. Yeah, that's a wonderful way of incorporating that. It's like, the future is only certain when you know it. It's the destiny paradox. Yeah, it's like once you read it, it's got to happen. There's that wonderful line of "I've got to do it." Why is that? Because River read it in a book, and so it all ties in nicely to the Doctor not liking endings and ripping out the last page, which then comes very nicely full circle with the afterword that Amy gets to say goodbye to the Doctor like that. Rory doesn't, sadly. He doesn't get away.
To be fair, though, Rory's died so many times, you're kind of over it,
Yeah. And again, in terms of logic, it's that thing of, why can't he just go and visit them in a neighboring city or stuff? And I'm sure there's going to be a future story that wants to go to New York and isn't going to be like, oh, well, I can't do that because of Time with the Angels. Angels Take Manhattan, sorry.
Yeah.
They're all too similar, the angel names.
They are.
They're really not, but I'm getting confused.
Hey, it's the old age creeping in.
But, I mean, I'd go for another Who Man for this one, but you're obviously leaning a bit lower. Is it your least favourite of these?
I don't know, actually, because I'm just not a fan of it. I think maybe because in my head as a little fan, I was like, I expect you expect something different, expectation and reality completely different. I don't know. I'm just not that keen on it, to be honest.
I thought there is possibly a better story that could have been made out of this one, but I don't think what we've got is anything too bad. Should we do?
I'll let you have Who Man because you've let me have Power Free.
Okay.
But just know that I'm not a fan.
I mean, I'll say Big Friendly okay then. So
no. I'm a gentleman.
Okay.
It's placed. We've made this rule. Once it's in, it's in. It's locked. We ain't touching it.
Mr. Boncactus says, sorry, lads, I've got to go for a while. If I'm not back soon, have a good night. Take care. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Boncactus. Always a pleasure. Have a good night if we don't see you again. But yeah, Stylishman says, hot take, The Snowman is brilliant, excellent vibe, phenomenal acting, amazing plotting, great pacing, lovely soundtrack, a great origin for the great intelligent, that, in my opinion, improves the character. Are we this positive?
I wouldn't say it's a hot take. I agree with that. I think that The Snowman captures the Matt Smith era beautifully. I think Matt Smith is the Christmas Doctor. Because I think this has the magical fairy tale. Like, I just love the visual of the TARDIS on a cloud. It's so stunning, and I love it. It's great.
I'm not as positive, but I do like this one. It was one I revisited this Christmas, just gone. And it's always weird going back to this one because you're so used to Clara Oswald as you know her, but here with Clara Oswald, you got the Cockney accent, which always throws you off.
Best Clara, though.
Yeah, I'd have loved it if we got to stick with this Clara instead, but it just wasn't to be. Yeah, it's like by that point we were tired of our modern day companions.
Yeah,
and then modern day Clara comes along and ends up being the blandest of them all.
Yeah.
Until maybe the Chibnall era, I guess.
Hmm.
Certainly, I'd say the blandest of the 2005 to 2017 companions.
Yeah.
Partially because of the whole Impossible Girl arc they had, not
Well,
seemingly allowing her to have any character half the time.
I think the thing with Series 7 with Clara is it's whatever the story needs it to be that week.
Yeah.
Whereas Series 8, you're kind of getting more. I think when you get to Deep Breath, you're like, oh, wow, Clara. Okay, this is cool. Whereas I think Series 7, she's a casualty of we're in a blockbuster. We need that. The story needs a screwdriver passing. Clara can do that. It's that type of thing with Clara.
Yeah. And so that again is sort of the casualty of just there wasn't enough time to really make Series 7 as the way Moffat wanted to. I mean, you can see like the difference with Amy as a character in Series 5, how instantly well-rounded she seems like right after the 11th hour. You feel like you got a proper character there. With Clara, I don't feel like you get to know her for a good while.
Yeah.
Or you do, and then suddenly you feel like, oh, she's a bit different now. Like that. There's that whole story about her dad and stuff, or mum in the Rings of Akaten. That just feels like it's forgotten afterwards.
Yeah, that parent scene is so awkward. In that when you've got him over the graveyard and you're like, is that her dad? Is that a boyfriend? And then you get to like time with the doctor, like, that's not her dad. He's aged horribly. It's like time winds or time destructor hit him or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, only the nan stays consistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, the snowmen, anyway. I think it's not bad. I'd probably say another Hoodaman.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree.
Yeah, we're being surprisingly positive so far.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a bit all over the place, to be honest, but all right.
Yeah. I mean, Sliders one would never forgive us if Bells of St. John went down too low. But what
I
are
like
your
this
thoughts
one.
about?
I like this one. I again, I think that I've become less positive on it, mainly because I've watched it way too much. It's a bit like a Dalek for me, where I've probably watched it too many times. I don't enjoy it as I used to, but I think the idea is great. I love the Matt Smith costume that's introduced within this. And it's always exciting when you go to London and you see the Shard, and you're like, Bells of St. John, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned it on a previous stream, or probably a couple of previous streams, that this feels like the modern day equivalent of, well, I say modern day, it's 10 years old now.
Yeah.
More modern equivalent of the War Machines, isn't it? With
Yes.
using a new London landmark, using that London iconography for a story. And I think it helps the Moffat era hasn't done that so much up until this point. Like, is this the first story to be set in modern day London?
Maybe, yeah.
Because we've also been Ledworth for a while. And then, oh, no, Power Free.
Oh, yeah, true.
We only just talked about, but that certainly visits there. And I suppose, yeah, Lodger, and I mean, it's more rural London, but still London, isn't
Suburbs,
it? Yeah. But yeah, certainly. This is the most London. Story. This is as London as it gets.
I love Celia Imrie within it, and just the use of like an iPad of like people forgetting and moods. I think that's really quite cool.
Yeah. You got that guy with the chips, haven't you?
Yeah,
the way that they hack into people.
I don't know why, but I always think of JNT. He just sort of gives me like a JNT vibe from the voice.
Yeah, but yeah, I love how that's worked into like the Doctor approaching the shards and how like different people are sort of hacked along the way there.
Yeah.
But I suppose as well for this story, it's another example of how maybe Moffat's a bit more interested in the Doctor than the companion, in that Clara is sort of knocked out for most of the climax of the story. It's much more about the Doctor. Whereas you compare that to a Russell T Davies character introduction.
Yeah, like Rose.
It's Rose or Martha or Donna who get to save the day. Whereas here and 11th Hour as well, but that's sort of, you let that slide a bit more because it's also, the 11th Doctor's first story.
I mean, it is Clara's laptop, so it's fine.
But yeah, certainly it does feel like the companion has less to do with saving the day than they used to at this point. I could and have gone on at length about why I love the Basil St. John. Even the humour is hilarious, and the cafe scene is pure Doctor Who's the stylish one. Yeah, what is it? Another Who man?
Yeah, I'd say so, because it's the first time the 11th Doctor actually uses a blooming jammy dodger.
And now we come to the Rings of Akaten. I remember liking it. I thought it was sort of cute, I guess is the way to describe it.
Cute.
Like, you just pat it on the head, you think, oh, you tried. I don't.
It's the most 80s modern Doctor Who story, because you've got these really ill-fitting monsters going, shit, what have we got in the cupboard that we can fill out this alien planet with? Like the Skaldok prop,
Yeah. I mean, this is obviously going for that Russell Davies present, future, past format, isn't it? This is like, Clara's first trip in the TARDIS. And it just feels like that story idea very watered down.
Yeah.
Was it a Big Friendly OK or a Journey to Central Boredom?
I think the problem with this story, and I think it highlights one thing in particular, one thing what I don't like about this story. I mean, we're ignoring the massive positive, which is the speech. Everyone knows about the monologue and loves it. Is the problem with this bad boy, the Sonic, how it's just used as just whatever within it. I think it's too overpowered in Rings of Akaten, like holding the door. I think that's the big negative with.
Would you say it's the beginning of that as a trend? Because certainly it's something we had during the Moffat years.
Yeah, I would say this
even
is
more
the start
so
of it, for sure.
Could that also be, again, Series 7 written in a hurry?
Yeah.
So any problems that arise in the script are throw the sonic screwdriver at it.
Literally, yeah, I guess you kind of get a precursor in Power of Three. I think Power of Three and Rings of Akaten are probably the worst offenders of it. But yeah.
Where should we go? Journey to Central Boredom then?
Yeah, because I think it's got some fine moments, like Clara stepping out on the alien planet and seeing like the pyramid. I think that's really beautiful. But it has its moments. I think it has its moments.
Cold War. Now, this is one you're a big fan of, so I'll let you take it away.
This is probably my favorite of the series. I just remember being so excited because I've always had a fascination with Ice Warriors, and Matt's a very Troughton-y Doctor. I mean, I think he's the Doctor that's took the most influence from him. I mean, all the Doctors have some form of Troughton there. Maybe not John. I think John's very out there and different to the other Doctors. But I would say that the Ice Warrior redesign is probably the best redesign of a classic monster.
It feels very much like an upgraded classic one, doesn't it, rather than a redesign.
And arguably better than the classic, maybe. I don't want to, or maybe I want to say.
I mean, one thing I do prefer about the classic is the more organic feel of the armor.
Yeah, but
like, it does feel more like a it feels more like a grown shell.
Yeah,
rather than metal armor. Whereas I think the new series one, it sort of feels plasticky. It's got a bit of a sheen to it.
Yeah.
Which, I prefer that more slightly organic feel to the shell because it's a shell.
Yeah.
Even if it is a robotically enhanced or whatever, technological. It's nice when Doctor Who is able to do that, but still have an organic feel. Yeah, it's something that I feel is slightly lost. But other than that, it's great design.
It's a story you can only do once with like the Ice Warrior out of the suit, and I think Mark Gatiss really gets the beauty of the Ice Warriors, that they can be this monstrous warlike race, but they can cry like a butterfly dying. You know, there's some beautiful poetry dialogue about, you know, the Ice Warriors themselves. You know,
yeah. I mean, it's the beginning on screen of the Ice Warriors and the concept of honor, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, because it's sort of one of those misconceptions about them in the classic series that seems to have just really caught on. Because I think it started in expanded media with the Virgin novels and such, and then made its way into Big Finish as well, and then eventually a new series with what Mark Gatiss has done. But I'm a much bigger fan of Empress of Mars. I think that's where it's done better.
Empress of Mars is a stronger Ice Warriors story. Cold War's trying to do Dalek with the Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
I like the analogy of the Cold War, you know, just people with itchy fingers on buttons. And
I like
David
that it's
Warner's
from
a delight.
I like that it's from the Russian perspective.
Yeah.
It's a nice change. Yeah. And I think it also helps to show that, you know, it's a conflict that there's human beings on both sides of. It doesn't really matter which one's which when it comes to the fact that the world could be at stake because of it. But
it's when it.
Where would you want to put it?
I'd maybe go Who's the Man or 11 out of 10, possibly.
I'd allow you Who the Man.
Okay, I was just trying to remember. I think Series 7 started a trend where you have a reference to something from the classic series, because I think you've got the Hads in this. I think maybe the Doctor took Susan there to Akita.
Yeah, it was Susan. I think.
Hyde, you obviously got Metabolus free or Metabolus free, and then I can't remember Journey to Santa Brutalis, but you've got Brave Heart in Crimson Horror.
Bells of St. John obviously has the Great Intelligence.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to remember if there's any in Nightmare and Silver, to be honest. There's probably something.
I feel like there must be something with the Cybermen, like maybe a reference to Telos or something.
But yeah, Hyde.
And then Name of the Doctor needs no explanation.
Yeah, no explanation there at all.
Hyde, I can't really remember.
I think it's good until it's like, it's a love story. And you're like, oh, damn, guys, you had it so close. And I think that it's an interesting horror with the twist of like the ghost actually being somebody's, like, is it grandpa's child in the future or something like that, like a distant relative of one of them.
I like the fact that it goes beyond the haunted house with like the Doctor going through time and investigating that one spot to see what's going on there. I think that's an interesting idea. But yeah, the love story thing, it's probably not the way it went in the episode. But I just remember the ending being like this awkward zoom in shot on the window, monster there, very like awkwardly shaking about and disappearing. Like very comical. But that might not be how it played out, but that's the memory I've got of this story.
Yeah.
Big Friendly okay?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think from the trailer you think that it's going to be one of its amazing things, and I think it's got such a great setup and build up. It never quite lives up to what the trailer has, you know.
No, sadly not. Now, Journey to Central TARDIS.
I have no memory of it.
I can't remember it being good.
I'll be on. I don't remember disliking it, and I just remember it being a bit pointless that, you know, the Doctor knew all this was going to happen anyway. So it's like, okay, did it really? You know, it's a strange one. The supporting characters, my God, are dreadful. like the brothers, and like I swear there's like, oh yeah, we made him lose his eye or something for a joke, and you're like, what sick brothers are you?
Yeah, it's probably a Journey to Central Boredom again.
Maybe lower actually.
Arse.
Arse.
Yeah, there we go. Crimson Horror now. I think this is another
Crimson Horror.
Because I think you're not a big fan, are you?
This I love Mark Gatiss' stuff, but this is probably my least favorite Mark Gatiss script.
I don't mind this one. I think it's again similar to what a lot of the ones I just find all right in Series 7 are. The defenses, it's just good fun. I like that it gets to be a Paternoster gang story for the first half.
See, I don't like Dr. Light episodes, so
I like this one though, and I think it's not Dr. Light to an extreme sense. Once the Doctor does get into it, he does sort of take over a bit.
Mr. Sweet is wonderfully camp, and Diana Riggs doing a great job for what she's got.
I think it's just a good bit of fun in the Victorian era. It's nice to get a bit more of Jenny Vastra and Strax on screen.
By gum.
I mean, you got the awkward Jenny scene, which I think that drags it down the whole point.
Yeah, and I think it gets worse with a tight Enigma wrapped in a tight skirt, but we'll get there.
Yeah. I'd probably say Big Fanny okay.
I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it.
Nightmare in Silver.
Are we going there already? I think when you read what this story was gonna be, you're like, I can't like this. I think performance-wise, Matt Smith never gives a bad performance. I think he's great as Mr. Clever, but yeah, I don't know.
Always love a bit of Warwick Davis, but
porridge. Didn't you work it out from the statue and the coin? Well, okay.
That's very much one of those things where the audience isn't meant to get it, but then it pulls it out of nowhere and tries to be clever with it anywhere. And it's like, no, you've not. If you don't have the clues there to work it out in the story, you're not being clever. You're being obnoxious.
Yeah.
Joe Bauer says Nightmare is the worst Cyberman story ever. Yeah. I mean, funny, I did quite like it at the time. Similar to you with Asylum of the Daleks, it's one I quite liked, watched a few times. But then over the years since then, I've grown a disdain for it, I suppose.
It removes what makes a Cyberman scary, because you've upgraded them so much, and like every little thing you do, they upgrade, and it's nice to show that the Cybermen evolve and adapt, but not evolve that quickly.
Yeah, and it sort of makes it a bit awkward when they come back after this now, because everything they do is why is it suddenly downgraded?
Yeah,
I mean, it's good that they removed a lot of those silly upgrades, but yeah, it's a similar problem to what the Daleks almost had when they became so overpowered that it's like, if you've got this threat that's so overpowered but always gets defeated, then you got a case of villain decay there.
Yeah,
and I think here the Cybermen managed to go through that in a single episode somehow.
It just has a lot of promises and it just doesn't deliver, because you read the articles going, it's going to be really 1960s. And you realise that it would have been a two-part, and you think, okay, it would have been a great two-parter.
Yeah, I mean, it's Neil Gaiman coming off the back of The Doctor's Wife writing a Cyberman story. Why did it turn out like this?
Yeah, it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
Yeah,
I want to love it,
Yeah, definitely a big symptom of the Blockbuster of the Week format, the fact that it didn't get to, be a two-parter. so much was lost. It's just, is it our sign with the Daleks? Is it and stay out? How mean do we want to be?
So much got to go there.
I'll let you have it. Starfish One says, hot take, Nightmare in Silver is a happy meal. It's not good, but I enjoy it, and it takes me right back to being a small child. That's fair.
That's
I think
fine.
we've all got
That's
those
fine.
stories that we sort of think, it's not great, but I'll still happily stick it on and watch it.
Yeah, if you there's stories where you get transported to where you were when you first watched them, and if that's for you, that's great. We respect all opinions here.
Yeah. Stardish was in the Series 7 corner with a pitchfork trying to protect it, says Super Invisible Collection.
You can't protect it, I'm sorry. That's one thing I want Big Finish to adapt. If they do a lost story, they should do Nightmare in Silver. Because I need to see what that was.
Yeah. Fun fact, Neil Gaiman disowned Nightmare in Silver and blamed Moffat for altering the script. Moffat disowned Nightmare in Silver and blamed Neil Gaiman for writing the script. Yeah, they both washed their hands clean a bit. They both don't want to take responsibility. But fair enough. And it's a shame he never got to come back again after this. I remember there was talk about it, wasn't there? I think he was too busy with other things. He wanted to do a Yeti story, I believe, at one point.
Oh, that and Capaldi would be a brilliant combo.
But would it end up like this? Hopefully not. Not that we have to worry about it now.
Yeah.
No. Now we come to the Doctor trilogy. I mean, a lot of people would say Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor don't belong on this tier list, but they're here. Deal with it.
They were the Series 7 specials.
Yeah.
On iPlayer, they're in Series 7.
Exactly. If iPlayer says it, then there's no getting out of it. That's the way it is. But yeah, Name of the Doctor.
I've got no memory of it, really.
I think the Whisper Men are a wasted threat. They're such cool design, interesting concept, but nothing's ever done with them.
Much like the Vigil in Rings of Akaten, it's got that same principle, I think. Great design, just not used.
I don't know about this one. It sort of feels like the universe ends and then comes back very quickly, and there's no real weight to that. I mean, you got people raging at the time about clickbait title. You don't find the Name of the Doctor. I think it's fine as a title because it's still about the name of the Doctor. Just doesn't reveal it quite sensibly.
I remember the week of just being in sheer panic going, I hope they don't do the Doctor's name. And just being so scared that week that they were actually going to do it. It was just...
Yeah.
Oh, had sleepless nights about it.
I felt like that was me going into The Last Jedi with the Rey's parents reveal.
Yeah.
And then being like, oh, yay, they did a sensible thing. But then, thankfully, Name of the Doctor doesn't have a Rise of Skywalker to worry about. Well, or does it? Could you argue the Timeless Children sort of?
That's true. That's true.
A similar thing. It's not quite the name, but nevertheless, it's sort of a similar vein. But anyway, hot take, Name of the Doctor is one of the best series finales. The stylish one, excellent acting, amazing pre-credit sequence, great plotting, and I have strong memories of watching it and being enthralled.
Oh, the pre-title sequence is very it's the 50th anniversary year. It's going, look at this history.
Yeah. Look at these Doctors running through a park.
Yeah. Oh, there's Trout. Oh, there's a little bit of McGann because we can't show McGann properly.
Yeah. I think it's well done, that stuff. How they were able to get the Doctors in there somewhat convincingly.
But you can't in the sequel, like, oh, Clara's there. You go back and watch the classic stories.
Yeah, that is a bit... I mean, or is she? Because, in Time of the Doctor doesn't actually die there. So his grave and time stream are not there. So there's nothing there for Clara to go into. So there's no splinters of Clara. That is a redundant timeline. So we as fans don't have to worry. That didn't happen.
There we go.
Name of the Doctor didn't happen. But yeah, that was one of those things.
It stays out.
Yeah, that felt like one of those things of Moffat trying to shove a character and make them more important to the Doctor than they maybe needed to be.
Mm.
And again, it's this weird obsession Doctor Who has had for a good 10 years now of being interested in the Doctor's past rather than doing something more towards their future. Just like building on the character rather than expanding details of a mysterious past that we don't really need to know.
Yeah.
But name of the Doctor, Big Friendly, okay?
Yeah, it's not one I've revisited in a long time. So I'm only going off vague memories. I've probably not seen it in about 9 years.
Yeah. I mean, now we get to 2 that we've
I think we can breeze through
covered.
these 2.
Yeah. If you want 2 hours worth of our thoughts on these 2, we have the Regeneration Advent Calendar, where we reviewed Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Day of the Doctor you love, don't you?
Yeah, it's just so exciting. And it's just, I want to say a comfort episode. Like, it's just one of those episodes you stick on and you feel good. And it's just become a tradition for me to watch it at Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, you were shocked that I hadn't watched it for a good while when we did that. That was like my first time watching it since it first came out, I think.
I've just watched it so many times, you know. I think it's my dad's like second favorite story, like Genesis, Day of the Doctor.
No.
So it's a yeah.
I mean, you'd be putting it top spot, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it in the cinema, so I get transported to that wow factor of seeing it. You know.
Do I want to be mean and saying you can only put it in Who the Man? I don't.
Someone's got to go in the top league.
It's not going to be okay. Fine, put it up there. This is all on you, though.
It's all on me, and I will defend. You know, Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, because time's not going that high, but also time is going a lot higher than it would have done this time a year ago.
Yeah.
Having rewatched it, I think I have come around on how it brings a lot of the plot threads of the Moffat era together. It's another odd thing, though, that with this series, you don't really have that many of the plot threads. Like, this is mainly about series 5 and 6. Yeah, like series 7 very much drops a lot of that, except for trends or its teasers. But yeah, Big Friendly, okay?
See, I'd go Who the Man, personally.
I'll allow it.
There we go.
We can't put up a fight on this because we need to get on to
the
Valarie stories.
Valarie. But yeah, that's series 7. That's what we think of it.
Surprisingly positive. I was expecting this to be a bit more over the place. I think we've probably got some more diverse opinions than usual.
Yeah.
Because I think there's some stories that you love that I don't, and then other stories that I quite like and you don't, and that seems to have balanced them out more towards the middle. But there you have it.
There we go.
And now we have another series currently ongoing that gets to squeeze in between the snowmen and the bells of St. John while the Doctor's on his hunt for Clara. And certainly, I think there's some hot takes on that of the concept of squeezing a companion in between Amy and Clara in that. But how do you feel about that? How approach the placement of this rather than just having it during Amy's travels, I suppose.
I think there's a different 11, isn't there? Because it's not the 11 we know, because obviously he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's healed at the end of a snowman, but he's got a purpose and a mission statement.
Yeah.
So I think that it's fine, because I think the way this series, it's leaning towards Clara. It's still got the mission statement, so it feels like it flows in nicely to what they were doing with series 7.
Yeah, I like how they've chosen this placement quite strategically and have used that to their benefit with the characters.
Yeah.
Because certainly there is a theme of loss going on here with them both and how you deal with that loss. And so I love that these stories get to explore that quite early on. I think let's just throw up a cover here.
Yeah, I was just trying to find.
There we go, got one. Here we are.
There we go.
Yeah, good bit of Geronimo there. But
Geronimo.
I mean, there's nice repercussions for the characters as well that go on through this. It feels very different for Big Finish, doesn't it? The way they handle this series, the way they handle the characters as well.
I think because it's 4 box sets as well, it has its own identity. It's 12 or 13 episodes. I can't remember. I think it is 13, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be 13 in the end. So you got a couple of box sets of three box sets of 3, and then 1 box set of 4 at the end.
Yeah. So it feels like Big Finish because Big Finish are very good at putting their stamp on Doctors and putting a Big Finish spin on a Doctor. And this is their take on the 11th Doctor. It's taken them maybe 2 sets because obviously we don't have Matt Smith, but because they've removed the narration, it's opened up this whole world of let's just do it,
Yeah. I mean, should we talk about Jacob Dubman for a second there?
Yeah.
In terms of, because I feel like with recast Doctors, he's one that maybe gets looked over a bit because Matt Smith is still very much alive and acting. Like it's only been 10 years since he left the show. And so, whereas when it's Doctors like William Hartnell or Patrick Troughton or John Pertwee, there's almost they're held to a different standard in a way because they're seen as, the full-time replacement, I suppose. Not that it is a replacement, they're bringing their own performance to it.
It's continuing the legacy. It's honouring the work they've done. And it's keeping them alive, for fans who are fans of those Doctors, really.
Yeah. But with that, it's like the understanding of, it's either recast or nothing.
Yeah.
Or at least nothing full cast. Whereas with the 11th Doctor, there could almost be this unfair view that Jacob Dudman's just keeping Matt Smith's seat warm rather than doing his own thing. And I think because he is so incredibly seamless, like you don't miss Matt Smith at all.
No.
Like he is not just a great impression of the 11th Doctor, but also a wonderful performance. And I think this series really highlights that with some emotional scenes involving Valarie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's wonderful how they bounce off each other and how it uses that.
I think the thing I think probably Jacob Dudman's right to do a bit more work because when you get to like the Chronicles and you get to like the shouty 11, you lose it. But Matt's quite low and you do that very slow voice like Matt has. And then you get more of an expansion with that. Like you say, the stories have more of a range for Jacob Dudman to play in, especially when you get to Curiosity Shop where
that is weird full on range.
It's full on range, but it's hard for me to talk about because it's 11. There's still 11 in there, but it's something different on top of that.
Yeah, you get quite a few different things on top of that.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. But yeah, Safia Ingar, they are amazing throughout
best
this.
11th Doctor companion.
Yeah, Valarie is a wonderful character, fully rounded right from the start, and it's just great seeing her go from strength to strength throughout these stories. I think I like that they do use the cybernetic angle of her.
Yes.
It doesn't feel
it's not a gimmick,
like a gimmick. Yeah, it's really part of her character. And it's something very different for a companion.
Mm.
It just gives a very different badass vibe to her. She's a very new series style companion, but unlike any of them we've had, because she does
Yeah.
get to stand up to the Doctor a lot. She does get to be cool in her own right. But yeah, also it does feel like something that only Big Finish perhaps could do. Like I've worried that the TV series would shy away from this too much with all their modern day companions. This
Mm.
feels like something they'd see as too risky to touch.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, the fact that Big Finish have gone for this and really have fleshed out her character and got such an amazing actor to play the role, it all just comes together wonderfully. And I think the chemistry between Jacob and Safia helps bring it all to life as well.
Mm.
It's some wonderful scene. You could just have a great scene of just the 11th Doctor and Valarie talking, really, and it's wonderful.
It's just the back and forth with them.
I think
You
it's a
know?
shame to think we're already almost halfway through their adventures.
Yeah, it is a shame, but it just makes you savor what you have. You know.
Yeah. I think there's something nice in that limit as well, isn't there? That it is making the most of it, making the most of every story. Stylish one asked a second ago, as someone who loves the Snowmen, especially the Bells of St. John, would I enjoy these box sets or find this stepping on my faves too much like Five Merriman does for you two? I don't think it steps on
No,
the
I
toes
think
of those stories.
I think it probably will enhance them. So
Like, especially
it's a bit like what Big Finish did with the Fifth Doctor and Adric. It's kind of giving you that context of how the character got from A to B to Z.
yeah. It's
And then
very
back
much
to A.
exploring the 11th Doctor's grief over Amy and Rory, isn't it? Because it's not saying that after running into Clara, suddenly he's over them.
He's got a purpose again. Whereas this is
Yeah.
him trying to go, do I have a purpose? Who is Clara? Oh, there's this new girl. Let's have some adventures, but never losing sight of Clara.
Yeah. I mean, didn't he also sort of was close to giving up on Clara in Bells of St. John anyway?
Yeah.
Like where he's back at the temp. So you know he's had a go at it. This is that go. So yeah, he's just adding that context really. I think does work wonderfully as a little series in its own right so far, depending on how it wraps up. But I've got faith. We've got Cybermen to look forward to. So
I think that's the thing. You know, why you should check it out, because I reckon they'll do Paradigm Daleks. They have to.
they had them in the trailer.
They had them in the
You can't
trailer.
tease us like that. You can't dangle them in front of our face and then not follow through with that.
And you don't want to miss a Paradigm Dalek, so catch up, because I was raving about this set to you, and you picked it up, and now you become raving about, because I was very scared. I'm like, I'm 11th Doctor fan. I'm a Moffat apologist. I hope Luke likes it for what I made him waste his money. But thankfully, he likes where we're going.
You know? Yeah. It's certainly some interesting stuff that Big Finish is doing at the moment here.
I think it's the most interesting thing, because it's I think that's the thing. We like our ongoing series. You know, we like Dalek Universe and that type of thing, where it's like long form storytelling. It's got its own identity and style.
Yeah. Each episode has its own beginning, middle, and ends, but I don't feel like it suffers from the whole, 45-minute syndrome or 1 hour syndrome that Series 7 suffers from. The blockbuster of the week thing. I don't think that's really damaging this at all. And actually, I kind of do want them to carry that on throughout, just so we get as many stories as possible with the 11th Doctor and Valarie. I can see the appeal of that with the way they're doing it here, because character repercussions carry on from episode to episode. There's different ties between them that work really well to flesh out and expand the world. Whereas with, say, the 9th Doctor Adventures, where that's 12 1-hour standalone stories, you're constantly just starting from scratch with each episode.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it gets to build on the previous episode, build on the mystery, but more importantly, build on the characters, really. It does feel like there's a very solid progression for Valarie and the 11th Doctor as well throughout these episodes. And I love that it gets to do that second second story for Companion, their first trip in the TARDIS with the
it's
House
like in
of
the
Masks.
past.
Yeah, going to Venice in, is it 18th century or 19th?
I think it's 18th, I think.
Yeah, during Carnival. But yeah, it might not be the best episode. In fact, I think it's either that or the Yearn from box set 2 is my least favorite overall.
I'd say that.
But it's still got wonderful moments in. I love what it's doing thematically and how that works into the entire arc. And then you've just got this wonderful scene towards the end of the Doctor and Valarie talk about what they've lost, and the Doctor talking about Gallifrey, because this is at a point before Day of the Doctor still.
Yeah, he's not
and
saved.
it's something that I think Moffat leaned away from by this point, because you'd sort of gone through the motions a few times with Rose, then Martha, then Donna. Yeah, I think it was understandable that the show wanted to move away from that baggage at the time, but here you get to return to that. You get to have the Doctor admitting what he did to his own people, and sort of putting that to Valarie in a sense of, do you still want to travel with me? It's sort of like the "Am I a good man" arc.
Yeah, it is.
Better, isn't it?
Yeah,
because I think it's wonderful how human a response Valarie has to all that. It's nice that this doesn't treat it as just black or white. There is that shade of grey there where, it's a horrible thing, but also she knows the Doctor's a good person. So
the Curiosity Shop explores that more, I feel.
Yeah, it does. There's a good exploration of the darker side of the 11th Doctor throughout these, and the fact that sometimes perhaps he's making things all about him when he shouldn't be.
Because Stylish one asks about the blockbuster, which I think you covered, but I think this covers the fairy tale, because this is so Moffat-y. I think All of Time and Space is more fairy tale for me.
Yeah, I think that's when it really gets into that side of things, and also just with very not unconventional styles of stories. I also love the ends, the finale from Geronimo, and how that very much has a Moffat feel, with you've got two sort of stories taking place at the same time, both with the Doctor and Valarie in them, and you're wondering how that's going to work out. And it's very clever when that does come into it. It's nice how they get to take, maybe somewhat basic ideas, but then with twists like that, really elevate the story. Yeah, the end is my favorite from the first box set. You're a big fan of the Inheritance. Yeah, the Time Spiders.
Yeah, they're a great threat.
I love that line about them weaving the web of time. That's wonderfully poetic stuff.
Yeah, the Inheritance just feels like a pure Moffat opener, and it sets the direction of the series. It sets up the characters well.
There's a lot of, probably the biggest arc episode, isn't it? Really,
so far, yeah. You get hints of the Time Lords, and it starts to hint at Darker 11, like him going up against this big corporation. It's very Bells of St. John, I guess, done right in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, Geronimo is more the arc box set, isn't it? That's very much kicking that off. And I think each story takes place one after the other. That then leads into All of Time and Space, the episode, not the story.
Yeah.
Not the box set, sorry. The episode is the story.
I think.
But yeah, and then after that, All of Time and Space as a box set is more about just the travels of the Doctor and Valarie, isn't it? And it's more time jumps there.
I would say more experimental. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially the first story is, it feels what to be like a 1 to 50 W. It's a very early Big Finish sort of feel like it's going, hey,
It's
why
so
don't we do
meta.
this? It's so meta and so lovely because it's a tribute to Doctor Who, but not Doctor Who.
Mm.
It's
Just
tremendous.
just wait until you hear the title sequence of that one. It
Yeah,
is incorrect. It is very special. When I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm on board. I like what they're going for here.
because I didn't read the synopsis for it, and I was like, this writer's really good. And then I started listening to stories like, oh, hang on,
Wow. This writer is in this story.
what? Amazing! It's so good.
Very clever. Yeah, and
Um,
I think also what I like is that there's a logic to it all as well. Like
yeah,
there's plot holes within it in quotation marks that it's wonderful how that's worked into it. If that makes
yeah,
like it's very meta with that, and it's very much written by a writer for writers in a way. Like there's a lot of in jokes within it. But yeah, it's wonderful stuff all of time and space.
like it's a runaround, and it knows it's a runaround, and it's so better for
And it
it.
gets to be meta with that, and very funny at times as well. Like you see the darlings there on the cover, the two
Yeah,
older men next to Matt Smith there.
I've just realised what
That's
they're a
something to
reference to
like.
now. That's bloody clever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've
There's.
just got it now. Oh, why they're called darlings? Oh shit.
I mean, there is a line in the story like later. That was when it clicked with me.
Ah, I'm really slow.
I mean, saving the cat as well was in there.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
all, and quite a few others as well. I imagine probably missed some also, but it's a nod and a wink, but it feels fitting. Yeah.
It feels fitting because I guess this is series 7, so like it's the anniversary season, so it's lovely to be meta with it.
And I think that's especially true of Curiosity Shop at the end. That is very much leaning into the fact that this is an anniversary season. So
I like Curiosity Shop. I like that a lot. Should we just skip over the year? Like it's not bad. It's just compared to the rest, it's the weakest stuff.
Yeah, like I said, between this, I mean, there's wonderful character work in it though.
Yeah,
between Valarie and Roanna.
Who's coming back?
She's back in the next set. So again, it's sort of like that nice thing of even if the story is a bit meh, it's still necessary and still adds a lot. And so there's a wonderful little romance between the two of them, and I look forward to seeing how that develops later on with the next set. I mean, that's Max Curvishley, isn't it? Is it? No, it's not Curvishley. I'll have a look. Kashevsky. Sorry, Max.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Max Kashevsky is writing that one. All's fair. Spirit of the Season by Georgia Cook is the one where they seem to find Clara and she wants to kill them. And then Sins of the Flesh by Alfie Shaw, the Cyberman one. Very excited for that one. I mean,
hopefully an actual decent 11th Doctor Cyberman story. We've got 11's best companion. Are we going to get 11's best Cyberman story? Fingers crossed.
I look forward to seeing what Alfie Shaw can do with the Cybermen.
I feel like it's going to be quite dark.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just with that title alone and the synopsis they give you, it chills. I'm looking forward to this set. And yeah, I'm happy I'm on board with the 11th Doctor Chronicles. I think it was definitely money well spent.
I think because
I'm glad
it's
I've joined you on the hype train. Yeah.
As well, you're like, right, that's it. There's no chance they're going to extend it like robots.
No, but even then, I wouldn't
be against it.
I wouldn't be upset. Like, I'm not saying don't do it, Big Finish, but at the same time, if
please do it.
They seem to have a well planned out arc here.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that to be dealt with in the time they've given themselves to.
Yeah.
And I mean, it seems like this went through quite a few different development stages. Like, I think at one point it was going to be 3 4 disc box sets by the looks of things. Just by the way, because the second story, The House of Masks, ended up being what's it called? Written last, I believe, was the last one they, or at least decided on or worked on, because they decided they needed a historical in the first box set after they mixed it up and cut it down to 3 stories per set, sorry, other than the final one where they got the extra one squeezed in there. But yeah, and then the urn as well was originally meant to be Valarie's first adventure.
Okay.
But I think the way that it juggles around, they don't just move these around without thought. They move them around and then adjust things around that.
Yeah.
Because with Roanna in the urn, that would have at first been like an opportunity for Valarie to decide whether she wants a life with the Doctor after all, or whether she wants something different. Whereas at this point in her life, it's where, she's settled with the Doctor. And now she gets to explore those other options instead. And it's a wonderful tongue-in-cheek moment with the 11th Doctor where he's saying, some of my best friends went off with people they just met. Which, referring to Leela and Joe, of course.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful how that's dealt with within this. So, all wonderful stuff. And then as well with House of Masks, the great scenes it has within that, and just how that plays into the overall themes of the first box set with dealing with grief and such. I can't imagine a way that arc would work without it being there. And I mean, I'm sure it would have made it work if they mixed things up, did it differently. But the fact that it is a late edition and feels so perfectly fitted in there shows how well planned out and thought through this all is. So yeah, it's just wonderful having a ongoing series that feels like everything does sort of feel planned out and ties in together nicely, both logically with the story details and also character-wise as well.
Yeah. It's all you can want for it, really.
Yeah.
But I think it not only gets them off it here, it just gets the tone of it. Because I just thinking back to like the Curiosity Shop, how it describes the Doctor and the TARDIS, but it's like the steed, and it just feels because I think the 11th Doctor's era is where it explores the dynamic between the Doctor and the TARDIS. Like everything just feels so connected to that era. It just feels like a great extension, and I think this is so good stuff.
Yeah. I think the only shame of this is that it's the Series 7B TARDIS.
I like it. I like it though.
I much prefer the Capaldi one. How much warmer that feels.
Yeah, it's more
feels
complete and homely. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if Valarie becomes Handel's stylish one. Don't you do that to us? I mean, by then Handel's has got all the human bits scraped out anyway, so
yeah.
Human Small Collection says the cover, I hope, is a major spoiler on Valarie's fate. I originally thought that. I was wondering, like, is it just a creative thing like they do on some of the Torchwood covers, where it's more like conceptual rather than actually relating to the story? But it could work because Valarie's arms are all robotic anyway, with her being.
I mean, she loses them in Curiosity Shop practically.
I mean, I think the first story, Inheritance, she's just a body and a head at one point, isn't she?
Yeah.
Because her arms and legs get confiscated, I suppose. But yeah, and so when I first saw this cover, that was before I'd even listened to The Inheritance. And so I had no idea of that. But then while listening to Inheritance, which also has a sneaky Cyberman mention, doesn't it? Yeah, I suddenly realised, oh, that's what they were going for on that cover. Because her arms are all robotic and pop off anyway. Not that they do that too often. It's not like they go around on their own doing their own thing. But it's like they are detachable. And she's got alert implants as well, doesn't she? At least some wonderful banter with her and the Doctor, with the whole she's got like the translation thing inbuilt into her anyway.
Yeah.
So 11th Doctor Chronicles. What more can we say?
Buy it.
Very much enjoying it so far, and when it all wraps up in February with whatever is after Everywhere and Anywhere, we'll do a whole Doctor Chronicles tier list with all the other ones that we have got in there as well. I mean, yeah, we plan ahead.
Yeah, it gives me a chance to actually listen to the second 11th Doctor Chronicles, which I don't think I can listen to now after how good these book sets are. Well, it's not as good as. You know.
I mean, you still got Jacob Dunn in there, given it.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I listened to the preview. They put out the free 15 minutes of whatever the seaside one. Yeah. What's it called? The day before they came. And yeah, that seemed true. I've heard that that's the best one of the lot as well.
That doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, I can't say I'm really intrigued enough to go back to the whole set though. Because this feels like all you really need for the 11th Doctor on Big Finish. It's his own little mini series, and so it all just feels. It's like it's the definitive 11th Doctor on Big Finish, isn't it?
Yeah,
like what we said about the War Doctor and River Song with their recent sets. Well, not recent set for the War Doctor now. He's had another one since.
Yeah, I need to pick that up actually.
I'll have to pick that up next month. Bells of St. John done better, says Stylish One. I feel so betrayed by you two, Ben and Luke. I thought I was passionate about the Shrouded Dalek stories. I love Bells of St. John even more.
We like Bells of St. John. We like Bells of St. John. Did you see the tier list?
It went higher than Power probably did.
Exactly. I think that just is a testament to how well how it captures the era, the 11th Doctor Chronicles. You probably disagree.
I mean, if you listen to it, maybe you will end up agreeing with us. Who knows? Stylish One also says, I love Doctor Chronicles Volume 2 was alright. I love Series 7, so it was let down. Not a massive fan, but enjoyable enough. Not worth it for non-Series 7 fans. I mean, yeah, it sort of felt more like a testing the waters for full cast. And then once they had that, they were then able to give the 11th Doctor companion and really go full on with that in this ongoing series. So either this will majorly disappoint me or some of the best Big Finish ever since I adore Bells of St. John. I hope it is some of the best Big Finish ever for you, Stylish One. It's
the best current Big Finish at the minute, maybe because it's got a direction.
There's a purpose to it, like the 11th Doctor himself.
Yeah.
Ben and Luke, have you listened to Fin Time / Madquake? Yes, we have. And I know why that's on your mind right now.
Yeah. Even though it's nearly 3 years old, we're not going to spoil it.
Is it? Was it 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, 20. Oh, yeah, of course. It would have been 2020 because main range ended 2021. Wow. That is scary to think that that's always that old.
But horrible.
Yeah, that's a very good double bill, that one. I think both stories are very strong there.
Very good character stories again.
Yeah, it almost feels like the precursor to this. Like when I think about other Big Finish that this reminds me of, the Mark arc sort of feels closest.
Yeah, I see that. It's kind of got the scale of Dalek universe, but the character work of the Mark stuff.
Yeah. And Dalek universe had its character work as well, but feels... I think maybe because that was more of an event series.
Yes.
Whereas it's more of a that's like a mini series, whereas this is a full-on series, I guess.
Which is, I think the whole point of this stream is shine a light on it, check it out, because I know a lot of people are like, it's not a Matt Smith, not going to check it out. honestly, you'll forget that Matt Smith's not even there.
Yeah, like 5 minutes in, and Jacob Dubman has just totally assumed the role, really. You never question it. There's no adjustment period for me. It was just, this is the 11th Doctor. I can hear it. And you just go along with it from there. Any thoughts on the DWM 70s poll results?
It's terrible.
A couple of...
I think we talked about it with Stephen, I think, maybe.
No, not with Stephen.
Did
I think
we
it was
not?
before that. Because the new DWM's out this coming week, isn't it?
We did the 60s.
Maybe we didn't.
I forget what we've talked about.
Yeah, I think there's so much stuff that we sometimes talk about off stream as well.
Yeah,
it
kind of all blur.
Hoover was talking. She says, "I listened to it this week. It was so good on Fit Time and Mag right there." Yeah. Yeah, probably maybe one to revisit Halloween time, particularly.
That's Hallows Eve.
Yeah, explicitly set Halloween, isn't it?
Yeah.
You talked about the 60s, but not the 70s. The stylish one. I mean, was it Inferno top of the Pertwee poll?
Yeah, Inferno and City of Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of it. The list. It's not Sea Levels. It's wrong. Yeah, because I think what was the worst Pertwee story? I think was it.
Is it Time Monster?
Yeah, Time Monster. When it's not really the worst Pertwee story. Where
Hoover's Walker says, Ben, I already asked Luke this, but what are your 2021 Big Finish recommendations currently on the final episode of Gallifrey Time War 4? That was when you
okay. Dalek Universe, Scourge of Cybermen, Third Doctor, Volume 7. What other ones?
Oh, of course, I forgot about that one. That is brilliant stuff. Best Third Doctor volume. I think we say it every time, but it's worth saying again.
And we'll say it again in another video.
Lost Resort and Other Stories.
Yeah, banger. What else come out? Blazing Hour. That's a really great thing. What else was really? To be fair, War Doctor Begins. That's all good stuff.
That kicks off that. Yeah, I'd say those first two box sets, particularly Warbringer. There, it's good.
But yeah, I think that's it from what. To be fair, 2021, such a good year. Respond to All Calls is amazing. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I had such a good time in 2021. It's hard for Big Finish to beat that for me.
Yeah. Joe Bowers says, I met Freema Adjuman at Wales Comic Con last year, where she was asked about Big Finish. She said the Martha box set was recorded across 2 years before and during COVID, and she would be up for more. Fingers crossed her and David's schedules line up. Yeah, that's the next thing I want for the 10th Doctor.
Yeah.
Full Adventures with Martha. Be nice.
That Martha box set is a bit of a shame. We knew it was happening. It came out and
it was almost like it felt like we'd heard it before it was even announced.
Yeah. And now arguably it's one of the most forgotten Big Finish.
But isn't it already on end of the line?
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't.
Let's have a check. There we go, Year of Martha Jones. I mean, that's 2021 as well. Probably not one of our recommendations, though. Oh, no, not yet. Or if it is, they've not put it on the page itself.
I'm just going to have a little weird look on the old app. What else came up?
Yeah,
I mean, we did do a whole tier list on 2021, so...
yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah. That probably has more of an insightful thing than what we can say right now.
Yeah, it's more fresh in our mind than we did that right at the start of 2022, didn't we?
Yeah.
I just realised on the final 2 main range audios, it's been a journey. This feels like a huge milestone. Yeah, I suppose it is.
Killing Time is good.
Yeah,
War Master.
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of that Hoover and Small Collection, you sort of have a bit more main range to come, even though it's not technically. With The Lost Resort and Other Stories, those were going to be straight after Fin Time and Madquake. But for one reason or another, it got delayed. We got Shadow of the Daleks instead, and then those got moved into a box set. But when they were recorded as main range stories, written as main range stories, or part of the main range arc, of course. So, you sort of still got some main range to come, just not in name per se. Hot take: the only bad thing about Series 7B is Northern Matt Smith. Why did he use the accent Crimson Aura?
No, there are worse things in Series 7, like Predator 11.
Yeah, especially Crimson Aura.
Crimson Aura and Lyrental were, Enigma in a skirt. Not even a skirt, a tight skirt.
Yeah, a skirt that's just a little bit too tight. Cringe.
Yeah. So that's the worst thing about Series 7.
Yeah. Have you guys listened to Antidote to Oblivion? I'm curious to know if it explored what happened to Syl and the Mentors after Mind Warp, or if it's ignored. I listened to part 1. I actually never got around to the rest of that one. What about you?
I listened to it 2015, so my memory's probably like... I don't have any recollection of it referencing sort of Mind Warp. It links to Mission to Magnus with the Doctor's bully in there. But that's all I can really remember.
Yeah, maybe that's where it's explored more, Mission to Magnus, because that would be more the direct after one. But,
maybe that should be a throwback. Maybe we should do something like that. I don't know. We haven't done a Colin throwback, have we?
No, we haven't yet, have we? We've done kind of a Locum Doctors, but
yeah, but that's like a year ago.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Did we done a 7th Doctor throwback? I think 5th Doctor seems to be our favourite.
Yeah, 5th Doctor and Early Adventures, David Tennant. We do. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what we should do for the next throwback.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, I say been a while. It's not been too long, but I know we've got next month booked up, so I think next throwback will probably be July.
Yeah, wow. It's mental that you've got that.
Gives us time to be ready.
We're that far ahead because, we've got some exciting things planned.
Also, I've now made the financial to sell my soul and try and get as many Big Finish CDs I can physically. So, Super Invisible Collection. Best of luck. But yeah, that's a topic for next week as we talk about the 9th Doctor adventures. And that, the price there is going to be a point of contention.
Yeah, that's. I think that's when you really pick how you want to experience these things, because there's a sense of ownership with CDs, which I think's the way I justify it. But
it's killing your darlings, isn't it?
It's killing my darlings.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a hobby that costs a lot of money, and the amount of money it costs isn't going down anytime soon.
Doctor is an expensive hobby, actually, isn't it, when you think about it? Because what other like franchises where you have a constant stream of expanded media? We're lucky.
Star Wars is closest, but that's comics, and that's not quite as. Just in terms of media, comics and books, really, isn't it? But I don't think that's quite on the same level as Big Finish prices and DVDs and novels. Did you see they revealed the covers for those novels they're doing? They're like decades one. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the style they're going for now, though, isn't it? Like the Resurrection and Revelation ones.
They sort of give me the 50th anniversary had like similar books, like an anthology collection.
Sort
of have that feel to it. I mean, I'll probably pick them up because I like a hardback.
Who knows when you get the time to read them, though.
Exactly. But then again, I've got a whole life to read these books.
Yeah. Once you've
as
got
well.
it physical, it's there. It'll be waiting for you.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
One might
But
become
we are
long
going
barrow.
somewhere.
Yeah.
We have to go now.
Yeah, we have to go.
It's been a fun one, though. Thank
It's
you all
been
for
fun.
joining us.
It's been a fun one. We'll be back. I mean, next week will probably be longer. So,
get some questions in if you want.
Yeah, well, if you have any burning questions, pop it in the comment section below when this live stream ends, because we'll probably do a little Q&A as well.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair.
Yeah.
It's been a while since you've done one.
Yeah. Leave a like on the stream as well if you've enjoyed listening to us talk about Series 7 and the Big Finish expansion with Valarie and the 11th Doctor. Stars also says, I love physical media, Big Finish.
I think physical media has become a prevalent thing. Disney Plus getting rid of a load of new shows.
Yeah, that is like crazy. Especially Willow, that's only just come out. Yeah.
Like, support the things you love. Love the things you get the things you love, have it physically, because you've always got it then,
Or you can pirate it, but you didn't hear that from me.
Luke, we do not condone that at all. We are supporters here.
Yeah. I mean, not with Big Finish.
No. Support Big Finish. Support Big Finish.
Yeah, when it's a small business, it's a bit different. But if it's something like Disney getting rid of Willow and there's no other way to watch it, if you're interested in that series after it's gone,
there's no alternative.
It's the only way, really. If they're not going to put it out, if they're not going to put it out there for you, then I don't think there's any harm in it, really.
Yeah, I mean, if they did Mandalorian, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. On they
need to get on that. But anyway, thank you and take care, Stars Run. Thank you for joining us, Stars Run.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, lurkers. We appreciate you. Thank you, people on replay catching up on this stream. We'll be back next week to talk about the Pioneers for Ninth Doctor Adventures, the start of Series 3 for Ninth Doctor stuff. Blimey.
Yeah. Where has the time gone? How are we here already?
How have we got a Series 3 is the big question.
Yeah, we thought it was just going to be one. But topic for next week.
And a Q&A as well.
Joe Bauer says, thanks, guys. Thank you, Joe, for joining us. Thank you, Hoover Whistle Collection as well. And Dragonbugs, I saw you in the chat earlier too. Thank you if you're still watching.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So we'll be back next week, same time, to talk about the Ninth Doctor and a good old-fashioned Q&A, because why not? So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.